Oh, there are so many yummy vegetarian options out there. You could try like lentil soup, veggie burgers, tofu stir fry. The possibilities are endless. All right, Route 4 students, welcome. We're diving straight into our vocabulary companion today. This first group of words, I like to call it the Thinker's Toolkit. These are the words you absolutely need to gather information and really make sense of the world. First up, we've got the adjective empirical. Now this word, it is the absolute foundation of all science, of any good argument. See, if something's empirical, it's not just a random idea or some theory you came up with. No, it's knowledge you can prove because you've seen it with your own eyes, you've measured it, you've observed it. It's real. And here's the trick to using it perfectly. Empirical loves to hang out with friends. You'll almost always see it as empirical data or empirical evidence. When you use those phrases, you're sending a powerful signal that says, hey, listen to me. This isn't just my opinion. This is backed by cold, hard facts. Okay, next up is the adjective cumulative. The best way. You know what? The only way you should think about this word is to picture a snowball. Imagine it rolling down a big, snowy hill. With every single turn, it picks up more snow, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That growing effect right there, that's cumulative. It's all about how things build up over time, piece by piece. And this is so cool because you can see how the whole word family works together. It all starts with the verb, to accumulate. That's the action, right? The gathering. What you get from that is an accumulation, that's the noun, the pile of stuff you've collected. And finally, you get to our word cumulative, the adjective that describes the total impact of everything added together. It's how science works. Knowledge is cumulative. So you've gone out and gathered all your empirical data. You're starting to see its cumulative effect. But how do you show it to anybody? Well, that's where the noun axis comes into play. An axis is just one of those lines on a graph, the X or the Y, that lets us plot our data so we can actually see the patterns. Just a super quick grammar note on this one. The plural of axes is axes, spelled A-X-E-S. You're going to use x-axis and y-axis all the time in your classes to map out the very evidence we've been talking about. All right, let's keep building here and move to our next set of words. I'm calling this cluster the Futurist's Playbook. These are the words you use for looking into the future, making smart guesses, and figuring out what's even possible. The key verb here is to foresee. It's like having a little crystal ball. It means you can see or predict something before it actually happens. A great leader tries to foresee challenges. A great chess player tries to foresee their opponent's next move. It's all about looking ahead. And this whole word family is just fantastic. Foresight, the noun, is the ability to see what's coming. It's a superpower for leaders. And we talk about things happening in the foreseeable future, right? And its opposite, unforeseeable, is perfect for describing those total curveballs life throws at you. So, you've foreseen a plan. You've looked into the future. The very next question you have to ask yourself is this: is it feasible? This adjective is so important. It doesn't just mean possible. It means practical. Can we actually do this? With the time, the money, the people we have right now? That's the key, practicality. You'll hear this all the time paired with words like option or solution. When someone asks you for a feasible solution, they're not asking for a dream. They want a plan that can actually work in the real world. Okay, best case scenario time. You foresaw a plan, you decided it was feasible, and you did it. What's the best possible outcome? Well, your work was fruitful. This adjective is perfect. It literally means full of fruit, which is a great metaphor for something that produces tons of good, useful results. A fruitful partnership, a fruitful discussion. You get the idea. And now for the polar opposite. What happens when a plan goes as badly as it possibly can? You get the noun extinction. Now, I know you're thinking of dinosaurs, but the word is bigger than that. It means the complete, total, irreversible end of anything. It's when something is just gone. And this slide just lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you have a fruitful project, growing, creating new things. On the other, a project facing extinction. It's failing, it's out of money, it has no future. These two words are basically the ultimate success versus the ultimate failure. Okay, let's pivot a little. We're going to turn our attention to words that describe the actual things we create and use. I'm calling this section the Builder's Catalog. It's all about systems, products, and what makes them tick. We've got to start with a very modern, very important adjective, autonomous.
This word describes any system that can work all by itself, with no human pulling the strings. Think about it. Autonomous vehicles, self-driving cars, or those autonomous drones that can fly a mission all on their own.
Now, you really got to pay attention to the different forms here. Autonomous is the adjective that describes the thing itself, but autonomy, the noun, that's the idea. It's the state of being independent. So a country might fight for its autonomy. An autonomous vehicle is a machine that has autonomy. See the difference? So much of what we build is aimed at making life more convenient. This adjective is all about making things easier. Simple as that. Ordering food online is convenient. Having a map on your phone is super convenient. It's all about taking away the struggle. And the noun form, convenience, is something we all want, right? We'll pay extra for convenience. And of course, we all know its evil twin. Its direct opposite, inconvenient. We use that word probably 20 times a day to complain about traffic, long lines, anything that makes our lives harder. Let's tackle the noun commodity. Now, at its core, a commodity is a basic good or a raw material that gets bought and sold on the market. Think about stuff like oil, gold, coffee beans, or wheat. They're all standard products. But here's where this word gets really interesting. That last expression, to treat as a commodity. We use this when something that should be unique and special becomes so common that it kind of loses its special value. Some people argue that our personal data online is now being treated as just another commodity. Okay, this next one is nice and simple. A blade. It's a noun. It's the sharp part of a tool that's made for cutting. A knife has a blade. A pair of scissors has two blades. A lawnmower has a blade. It's a basic building block of so many tools. And check this out. This quote ties our last two words together perfectly. Think about a razor blade. It's a super common, super cheap product that's sold in massive numbers. It's pretty much the perfect example of a manufactured commodity. See how these words connect in the real world? Our next word is the noun collision. Now, the first thing that probably pops into your head is the literal meaning, a crash. You know, two cars have a collision. An asteroid and a planet could have a collision. It's a high-impact, powerful event. But hold on, because the verb to collide gives us this amazing abstract idea, a collision of ideas. This is when totally different, maybe even opposing, points of view crash into each other. A really good debate is a collision of ideas, and sometimes something brand new and brilliant can come out of that impact. All right, Route 4 students, you've put in the work. Now it's time for the word workout. Let's do a quick fire round to see what you remember. I'll ask a question, you shout out the answer. You ready? Let's do this. First one, what do you call knowledge that's based on real proof and observation? It's empirical. That's it, you got it? Excellent. Okay, next up, a plan that's not just possible, but also practical. We call that plan feasible. Exactly, it has to be a feasible solution. Nicely done. And the last one for today. What do we call a system like a self-driving car that can operate all by itself? It is autonomous. Yes. Fantastic job, everyone. You nailed it. And I'll leave you with just one final thought to chew on. We've gone through a lot of really useful words today. Just look back at them for a second and ask yourself, which one of these words, if you start using it, will make your own writing more powerful? Which one of these words is going to be the most fruitful for you? Think about it. We'll see you next time. Oh, there's so many yummy vegetarian options out there. You could try like lentil soup, veggie burgers, tofu stir fry. The possibilities are endless. All right, Route 4, let's just dive right in, shall we? First up from our vocabulary companion, we're going to tackle some big ones. Words for ideas that are absolutely huge, that are always growing, and just, well, they just keep on going. So, this first section is all about the infinite and the endless. We're looking at words that help us describe things that are just limitless, things that expand, and stuff that happens again and again. Okay, first word on the list. Infinite. Now, this is an adjective, right? And it basically means something has no end, no limit. You can think of words like endless or limitless. You know that feeling when you look up at the stars? That's it. You're looking at infinite possibilities. Now, this is super important, so pay attention. People mix these up all the time. Infinite is the adjective. It describes something, like we just said, infinite possibilities. But infinity, that's the noun. It's the whole concept, the idea of endlessness itself. So you can't have an infinity car, but you can travel towards infinity. So how does something become seemingly infinite? Well, a lot of the time it's through massive growth. And that brings us to our next word, multiplication. And no, we're not just talking about your math homework here. In this context, we use it to describe a huge, rapid increase. Think about the multiplication of data online. It just grows and grows and grows. Okay, so let's take that a step further. What if a process doesn't just grow, but it actually starts repeating itself over and over again, endlessly? Well, what you get is a loop. This is such a useful word for any process that kind of folds back and starts over. You've probably heard phrases like a feedback loop or a loop system, right? That's exactly what we're talking about. All right, so we've got all this growth, this movement, this looping. But what's the total opposite? What's the word for when things just stop? That word is static. If something is static, it's not changing, it's not moving, it's just staying the same. You'll hear this a lot, like sales remain static. It means nothing's happening. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Now we're going to look at some words for describing the world around us. We're talking both physical places and, more abstract areas. Okay, two fundamental words you absolutely need to know: horizontal and vertical. And I've got a super easy trick for horizontal. Just look at the word itself. See it? Horizon. The horizon is flat. It goes side to side. So that's horizontal. And vertical is just the opposite. It's straight up and down. Think of a tall building that rises vertically. And here's how you can actually use them in sentences. We've got the adjective horizontal, the adverb horizontally, and that awesome noun we talked about, horizon. For vertical, you've got the adjective and the adverb. Knowing these different forms is going to make your writing and speaking so much more precise. All right, let's lift our gaze from the horizon and look way, way up into space. Our next word is solar. It's pretty simple, anything to do with the sun. And here's a little nerdy fact for you. It comes from the Latin word for sun, which is sol. See? Sol, solar. Easy to remember. And you see this word all the time, right? We live in the solar system. We're all talking about solar energy. People put solar panels on their roofs. These are super common, really important phrases to know. Okay, let's come back down to Earth for a minute and talk about a different kind of space. The word is sphere. Now, yeah, it can mean a ball, like a globe, but more often, especially in academic language, it means a particular area of activity or influence. So you might hear someone talk about the public sphere. That's the world of public debate and politics. Okay, third section. We've talked about endless ideas, we've talked about physical space. Now let's get into words for how we think and argue. This is all about the language of questioning and defending our ideas. Let's kick this off with a question. You know that feeling you get when you hear something and you're just not quite buying it? You're not sure it's true? What do you call that? That feeling is being skeptical. It's the perfect adjective for when you're doubting a claim. You could say, you know what, I remain skeptical about those results. It's a great way to show you need more proof. And here's another one people often get mixed up. What's the difference between a skeptic and skepticism? Well, a skeptic is the person, the one who's doing the doubting. Skepticism is the idea, the attitude of doubt itself. So a skeptic is a person who practices skepticism. Simple as that. So let's say you're trying to convince a skeptic. What do you need? A weak argument isn't going to cut it, right? No way. Your argument has to be robust. I love this word. Robust means your argument is strong, it's reliable, it's hard to challenge, It just sounds solid, doesn't it? Robust. So, what kind of things can be robust? Well, you can have a robust argument. That argument should be backed up by robust evidence. And maybe the whole thing is built on a robust system. This is how you win over a skeptic. You come at them with something robust. Okay, we're almost at the finish line. Let's do a quick fire round on a few words from the companion for all the tech and gadgets in our lives. So you've got some new tech. What is it? Is it a device, a tool, or an appliance? Well, a device is a great catch-all term for things like your phone or tablet. A tool is more specific. It helps you do something, like a software program. And an appliance is usually a machine you have at home, like a smart fridge or a modern coffee maker. All useful distinctions. Wow, okay, we have covered a ton of ground today, right? From the infinite all the way to the skeptical. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Route 4. You have the words now. You've got the vocabulary. The real question is, how are you going to use it to build a more robust argument?